With top-name AEW contracts running out and WWE having a recent firing, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for December 3rd. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. While referring to pro wrestling as entertainment or a form of art might not be accepted by all, PWI's #1 ranked pro wrestler for 2021 finds it very similar to theater, as Kenny Omega told CBC Arts. "I like to compare what I do to episodic TV, but in a lot of cases it can be like performance art or a night out at the theater. I think that one of the most beautiful things about professional wrestling is, depending on where you are in the audience you're performing for, it can be either or. I'd lost a lot in my personal life to wrestling. I wanted to make these connections both with the fans and my comrades in wrestling, right, my workmates. I didn't want to do them a disservice by going through all of this mental preparation, this physical preparation, just to have a match that isn't appreciated in the grand scheme of things. That was sort of the goal for me as a performer. How can I mix everything that I've learned from the different styles that I know in wrestling, from the tapes that I studied, from the pop culture references, culture in general, and media? How do I take all of these things and how do I become the best storyteller I can be?" After losing the AEW World title to Hangman Page, Omega vacated his AAA Mega title with him out of action to heal from injuries and possibly get surgeries. Bryan Danielson matches have always been some of the most exciting bouts, but in AEW, the American Dragon has been winning his matches with different finishing moves, as Jim Ross gave him props on his podcast. "I love everything that Danielson has done since day one in AEW. He's always been one of my favorite guys to be around. Positive, smart, he shows great skills without having to pat himself on the back. He's won every match he's been in, and he's won it with a different finisher. It takes confidence to do that. It's not your tried and true finisher. He has a variety of things he can use to beat your ass, and if you go forward, that's great ammunition to tell great stories. If you think about it in reality, why wouldn't he turn heel? He's the #1 contender. The match with him and Hangman Page is inevitable. It's going to happen. When or where, I don't know. I'd suggest it would be on pay-per-view, but it might not be. Tony might throw a curveball. Hell, I don't know, but I loved it. It really galvanized the relationship between champ and the #1 contender, so I think that was really good. Look, after a pay-per-view, you've got to wipe the slate clean and get some new matchups, new matches. His ability to change his game, I love it. I love the fact that we're doing things differently, doing new marriages. That's smart booking in my view. At the Winter is Coming event, Danielson will get a shot at the AEW World title when he faces the champion Hangman Page. When it comes to the product WWE puts out, there is no shortage of fans that would like to see improvements when it comes to booking, as declining ratings seem to be an indicator for this. Speaking to Renee Paquette, Eric Bischoff touched on WWE storylines, saying he wants to see more structure. "One of the things where I am disappointed in myself is I really think what's missing, this goes for WWE and everyone else producing professional wrestling content, is the de-emphasis of story. At a time where the audience is watching so much great compelling story and so much story structuring, great characters on so many other platforms, scripted entertainment is probably more successful now than it's ever been in wrestling, rather than gravitating towards a more sophisticated storytelling structure, not an angle that turns into a wrestling match, because that's what wrestling does and is almost always done. Every once in a while they'll stumble into a good story that will really resonate, but it's more by accident than design. If wrestling today would re-emphasize and introduce a more sophisticated storytelling formula, I told Vince, here is where the opportunity lies. The audience is getting smaller and smaller for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is that these stories suck. They're not stories. There is no structure to them. Beginning, middle, and end is thrown together haphazardly. That's not how stories are generally created. They weren't when I was there last time, and I don't think they are anywhere else. There is a way to do it, and that's where I'm disappointed in myself. I wasn't able to play the game or manage myself well enough to be there long enough to try to affect that change. I would really like to see a more structured story formula. Recently, Austin Theory has been seen on screen with WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. They were on Raw watching the show, specifically looking for surprises. McMahon would teach Theory a lesson in expecting the unexpected by slapping the young star. On After the Bell, Theory revealed what that experience was like. When you think wrestling and wrestling god, it's Vince McMahon. When I'm sitting there and talking to him, it's like, wow, it doesn't get bigger than this. I probably watched the video of getting slapped 100 times. I would say just don't upset Vince McMahon. He's got some hands. Many see Theory as an up-and-coming star in WWE, as these segments with McMahon could be proof that the company sees big things in his future. Given Triple H is recovering from a heart procedure he had in September, NXT has been in the hands of Vince McMahon and company. Many are anxious for the game to come back, as Shawn Michaels gave an update on Triple H's status. Right now, for me, I've told him, I don't care how good you are, you stay away, get healthy, concentrate on you. The thing is, he put in a fabulous team here, and that's why it's able to continue on without him, because he put phenomenal people in place. I'm just the guy that gets to expedite everything and run traffic. The team he put in place was prepared for these kinds of days, and we want him to get healthy. He doesn't have anything to worry about. We'll be here when he gets back. With Kurt Angle previously saying Kenny Omega has the it factor, Jim Cornette took to his podcast to explain why he thinks Angle could end up facing the cleaner in AEW. If Kurt made his return for another match, it'd be for whoever pays the most money. So I would not bet against that, because I bet Tony Khan would pay him the most money. And I have a feeling Angle made that statement fully aware of the fact that if he was to have one more match, the person who would pay the most money for it would probably be Tony Khan. And I would further add that Angle is fully aware of the fact that if Tony was going to pay him a large sum of money to have one more match, Khan would probably want to see it against Kenny Omega. Walter has been one of the most dominant superstars, and he is the longest reigning champion in modern WWE. It was also previously reported that he split from his wife, which was the reason he was staying in Europe, with him now more open to moving to the US. He was looking jacked in a recent photo, as the Wrestling Observer noted. Regarding rumors of Walter's status changing, he did split up with his wife. Family was the reason he used to not be interested in moving from Europe, but he has dropped weight because having a good looking body is far more important on the main roster, and there is interest in having him based in the US. Actor Freddie Prinze Jr. used to be a writer for WWE, and he recently revealed he is interested in starting his own promotion. Talking to Ariel Helwani, Prinze Jr. noted that the decision to make Jeff Hardy WWE Champion was the catalyst for his falling out with Triple H during his time in the company. Hunter did bring it up, and everybody else was cool with it. Nobody had said anything, and I'm sitting in there getting nervous. And Triple H says, are we really going to trust the championship with this guy? That's when I knew that was a sniper bullet man. Jeff wasn't trustworthy as champ. It was a feel-good moment for fans, but wasn't a sustainable one. Hunter is about sustainable championship runs because that's bankable and reliable money for the company. His philosophy was sound then, and it's still sound now, and I just know I pushed hard on that one because I thought it was worth it. When it comes to the original plan for Brock Lesnar's return, the Wrestling Observer would write, Lesnar returns on December 3rd in San Antonio and is booked on December 10th for SmackDown in Los Angeles. Originally, he was still going to be suspended and would do the deal where he bought a ticket to attend the Los Angeles show. But on the November 26th SmackDown, the show was built around Braxton, ending the show announcing that Lesnar's suspension was lifted, while Pierce acted shocked that Roman and company also were. In the main event of Survivor Series, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns was able to defeat the WWE Champion Big E. On After the Bell, Corey Graves talked about the upcoming Day 1 pay-per-view, and how the match between Big E, Kevin Owens, and Rollins could steal the show. Still, he said it is sad that Big E has to play second fiddle to Roman Reigns. This triple threat at Day 1 is also a huge opportunity for Big E to really become the focus. I do believe that it is truly unfortunate, as the WWE Champion, Big E is always going to be forced to play second fiddle to Roman Reigns. Reigns. This is implied for no reason other than Roman Reigns is functioning at such a level that our business has not been able to see in a long time. Roman is that guy who is incredible, putting on bangers after bangers, compelling promos. You've got Paul Heyman, the Bloodline, everything involving the Universal Championship picture right now, including Brock Lesnar. It is just next level. After a fan tackled Seth Rollins on Raw last week, security became a major discussion in WWE. The Wrestling Observer now broke the news that Scott Aycock, who worked security for WWE since 2004, was let go this past week. There is no word whether he was booked for Raw last week, and the Rollins incident had something to do with this. In a quick update, the Observer would also detail that the contracts of many top names in AEW are set to come to an end. Regarding the Young Bucks deal, the first contract both signed, which started on January 1st, 2019, which was a 3-year deal ending on December 31st, 2021. The original contract also gave Tony Khan the option for 2 more years, which included a raise both of those years, which he picked up, so the new deal is through December 31st, 2023. Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes, Adam Page, and Chris Jericho would also fall into that category, since they were the original group that started the company with the 3-year contracts and the option years that Khan had the right to pick up based on the original deal. I would expect all will be renewed, but factually can't confirm anything past many of them have. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.